Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub, and just having a little. So by the time this video is out, it's already July. A couple things happened during the last week. Where I was busy and I couldn't get the video done in time, so my only video of July, technically video to end June, technically. Because this month I'm going to be going to Greece to visit family for about a month. So end of July to beginning of August, I'll be back. I'll be away. So I figured, you know what? I'm not going to do any videos for July or August. I'm just going to wait till September and get my videos ready. So, technically, in honor of me going to Greece for a month, I figured I'd end the month with a video that is Greece themed, technically. And I'm just mad that it's on a terrible, annoying, fucking awful subject. I'm going back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey's DLC, Legacy of the First Blade. And it is by far, like, I gave the last one a good rating, didn't I? Pretty good, yeah. So episodes 1 and 3 are great, but it's episode 2, Shadow Heritage, where I'm not the only one who hates this episode and what it sequentially leads to in episode 3. But there's bigger problems in this episode than just what people hate about it. And I'm going to go into it right now. So, it's another DLC review. Let's get to it, guys. And to start off, I do like how this is going down, having Darius and his either son if you play as Cassandra, or his daughter if you play as Alexios. I think I mentioned this in the previous game review and the previous review. And you guys can kind of guess where this is going if you're not, stupid. So basically, another set of Order of Ancients are coming towards this one town. I think, you know what? The whole problem with this DLC is that it happens within the Cretan world that we are in. It would have been great if we were in an entirely new map, so we could kind of, the Order of Ancients have set up base there, and I've had people there, because they brought the Order of Ancients people to the Cretan world, or they were, there to begin with, and this is just the Turkish, yeah. I think. Persian. And sadly, it's forgettable. Well, the last one had the hunters who were after Darius and us because we were aiding him. It just feels like this one doesn't have enough story elements to kind of build it up, which is a shame because the theme of having the Tempest, who is the leader of this sect of the Order of Ancients, basically is a threat on the water, and every other member of the Order that we have to kill, and we have to kill, let's see, I'm getting into that now, five, including the 4, including the final, so that's 5, which 2 of them are in story, 3 of them are, we have to look for them, and then she also sends out some actual technically bounty hunters after us throughout the game. It only adds more to like your experience in completing missions. And a majority of it is, again, it's hard to talk about, mostly because it just goes on and on and on, and I don't remember any of it. Usually if I like look up stuff in for videos, or if I go back and look at stuff throughout my gameplays, I mean, I don't record my gameplays, but like in my memory, I could normally remember stuff that happened. Like I can remember some puzzles in the Batman Arkham series. I can remember boss battle mechanics in other games. But when it comes to Odyssey, the DLC of Odyssey, it all feels kind of boring and not interesting until we get to the Atlantis one. And that's not saying a lot, but I'll get to that next year if I get to it. But again, my entire commentary that I'm basically going for right here is, again, in this 25 mission DLC, it's basically we're doing the exact same thing. Go find the Order of Ancients members, find some clues, have a brand new ability, which we have a new ability which allows us to heal every time we parry, which is pretty cool. Would have loved this in the main game, but no. We get rapid fire arrows. We get a flamethrower for our ship, which is awesome. It's actually a really cool addition because it kind of brings me back to the whole Ezio thing in Revelations. That little bit where we got that amazing flamethrower, and it was just so badass. What would have made this DLC great is if a majority of the missions actually dealt with being on the ocean and doing missions there. Like, I mean, the Tempest kind of has this port town that we're at kind of locked down until they find Darius and kind of, doing the Order of Ancients thing. But again, it's so forgettable, I barely remember it. And I think this might be my shortest DLC review ever, not including my Benedict Arnold one, because that one was barely long enough to talk about. But I'm going to see what I can do. Going back, during these DLCs, I'm going to look something up. 1 second, guys. I know I do this a lot for my DLC reviews, but I need to have the information. Shadow Heritage. Again, when I have to go look stuff up, it's not fun. Okay, because sometimes my handwriting kind of screws me over. This is back when they were doing the DLC missions every couple months after the first one. And this one did come out in January 2019. No, wait, that can't be right. Or can it? I can't remember, but either way, this slog, this bore fest is 6.5 hours long. And if you're doing all the side missions and all of the goddamn trophies in this DLC, it's going to take you about 12.5 hours. Plus 10 hours if you're doing the main mission plus the side. So it adds another 6 hours if you're doing everything. Which, in this, it's like, why? Because none of the side missions are memorable. Nothing in this DLC is, again, memorable. It's just so forgettable that even when I tried to come up with ideas of how these some bad DLCs can work, even I got bored. But I did plan some stuff out. For example, why couldn't we have tracked down the Tempest? I mean, then we find out that through someone that we're helping, the Tempest is her long-lost daughter, yada, yada. She got swept up into the cult of the Order of Ancients, yada, 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 and all that stuff. But the point I'm making is that there's no reason for this to be this boring. We could have, the Tempest comes to us and we fight on the beach. Yay! That's boring. why couldn't we fight in a ship battle? It would have been so amazing if we actually fought her a ship to ship. It would have been cool to have some missions where we actually had to venture out into other islands that were nearby, that she was either stockpiling supplies or do stuff like have prisoners who need to be freed. It would have been great if we had more activities on the boat instead of just being on land. I mean, it's called the Order of Ancient member is called the Tempest, and they talk about how she's on the sea a lot, so why not utilize that for her boss fight? Have the fight take place during a storm, a foggy area, so that they could introduce that into the boss fight. And during the boss fight, she'll bring out other ships to distract us, so we lose track of her, and then we'd have to use Icaros in order to seek out the Tempest ship. It would have been really cool. But no, they went for the basic, boring fight on the shore. Oh, and remember how Darius mentioned his old friend Amorgus, who is now an Order of Ancients member here. Later, during a main mission in the game, we help a guy who needs his allies back, or something like that. And it's revealed at the end of the episode that the guy we helped out was Amorgus, and it's been a good number of years since they've seen each other. So, and plus we don't know what he looks like. So, yeah, that whole helping the enemy kind of things, like we did in Unity when we helped out the Templars, technically, which, again, sucked. And okay, I guess the voice has a point. I've dragged this on long enough, and I mean, if you don't know why people hate this DLC so much, it's kind of simple. Throughout the game, the main game, you have developed relations with other characters. And by a lot of characters, I do mean a lot of characters. Not as many as Eivor has slept with. And I'm always a her and Ranvi fan. Yes, I always choose. During a game, if I have the choice between a male or female character, I always pick the female, because there are so many games where I actually play as a male, so I always love that option. It doesn't matter if you romance the Darius's offspring during the first mission, during the first game, DLC, or this one, or not. At the end of the DLC, they come back, we have a night, and then a child is born. Yes, they force us to have a kid, whether we're Cassandra or Alexios, but Alexios obviously doesn't have to have the kid. It's the daughter that does, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, I gotta look up one more bit of information. I gotta look up something. Yeah, there's been a lot of online stuff about this, how the DLC twist undermines your choice, which, again, it does. Let's see. But in the canon basically of the game, it is Cassandra who's basically, the main character of the story. So, yeah. Okay, so yeah. Another big thing in this goddamn thing, and I'm going to spoil it because it doesn't even matter if I talk about it or not, because I'm gonna mention it in the next episode of this DLC. Darius's kid, whichever, ends up dead in the third episode. Yeah, because of this whole thing. Because Cassandra or Alexios, whichever, is technically someone one who came before one of the Isu. The bloodline continues, and yes, they had to change the trophy name of the game in a patch at the end of the episode that says what was it? I gotta look this up. Assassin's Creed Legacy of the Hidden Blade trophies. Let's see. I know I'm using this too much, but at the same time, I don't care because I need to know this information. It's called Blood of Leonidas. Continue the bloodline. That's what it was changed to, guys. But oh boy. The original one said start a family, and it's completely not optional. It's canon story. Why? I will explain to you in episode 3, because that's where I will talk about it, because I'm done talking about this game. The fact that everyone hated it because they forced us to have a kid, which sucks to begin with, because it just undermines the entirety of Odyssey. That because we're one of the ancient ones, the ones that came before, we start a bloodline, and it with a hidden one. Oh no, wait, they're not called hidden ones yet. I'm just gonna say this: it is so annoying. It is so downright despicable what they did to end this DLC, and the fact that 9 months go by like that. So basically in episode 3, we're 9 months later. And basically in episode 3, we're basically playing Ethan Winters in Resident Evil Village, where we have to save our kid. Sometimes it's really annoying how the greatest ideas don't get to paper, but shit like this does. I've talked about this DLC enough. It's boring. It's bland. The ending got so much backlash that it didn't matter that they... You know what? They didn't even change it. Doesn't matter. The only good thing about it is that episode 3 ended the whole thing, and I was so glad that it was an annoyance that I did not need to witness any longer. So Gamer K's final verdict for a Legacy of the First Blade, episode 2, Shadow Heritage, which would have been just called Instant Heritage because we don't get the choice, is a below average 4 out of 10. This DLC, I mean, the first episode gave us something to look forward to with the Order of Ancients members and a bunch of new abilities and new characters. But this episode undermines everything and doesn't really matter. It doesn't really give us anything interesting. It's just 6.5 hours. Okay, 12 hours of a slog bore fest that ends up with a smack in the face at the end. And I just need to stop talking about it. That's it for this week, that's it for this month, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed my idiotic rants about this goddamn episode. Like, comment, subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys back in September, where my odyssey back to Greece calls me. I'm just wondering what I should review when I get back. I'll get back in August, but when I'm back in September for the Game Hub, God, what should I do? You know what? Let's see what I got. Perfect. Join me in September, guys. When I come back, I hope you guys remember to come back in September. Hope you got it memorized. This is Gamer K, logging out.